This is the part in the movie where I get challenged by some local to ski for the pride of someone I've never met. Welcome to the episode. It is race week, travel week, and picking right up where we left off at the last video. Found a van, a friend of mine that I met at a Breath and Exposure, and he saw my third time sharing on my Instagram story. He was like, "Hey, it's not super built out, but if you need it, you can use it." And so I was like, if it sleeps and it drives, I'm in. So on our way now, got the dog with us for no actual good reason other than we like him. Wife's driving and us to go grab the van, but we're gonna go check this guy out, get ourselves set up for the rest of the day, and see how few things we can forget to pack. So let's go check this van out. All right. We're gonna be just fine in this guy. Van is loaded up. It is more than a little muggy out here, but I'm just gonna drive west and there'll be less of that. All right, let's get this show on the road. Got gas, stock up on some snacks. And one thing I will say on driving this guy, as you can see here, it is not the smallest guy ever. However, in high school, my family, we had a 15-passenger van because I've got a bunch of little brothers and sisters. That is going to come in clutch that I had to learn how to drive that thing really early on. Officially a road trip as we crack open the first can. Let it rip. Day one down, drove like 600 miles, on to day two. All right, just got up, just got the van all resituated for driving, food and drive. So gonna go try and find me a more diner style breakfast if I can, while understanding that it's probably gonna be a gas station breakfast, which I'm not stoked about, but it is what it is. And then after that is just drive today. Exactly what we're looking for. Yes.
We're not going here. Is this gonna help? Think I'm going somewhere? I'm not going anywhere. Good boy. Okay, go on. Come on. Come on, Kendall. Come on. Kendall. His face. No. Go on.
What do you think, Bear?
I don't want you jumping up on Sam in the middle of the night.
Day two, done. Welcome to day three of the drive. Stayed at my buddy Mason's house in Salt Lake City. Super clutch. Oddly enough, that couch was way more comfortable than the van. Air conditioning, and as you saw, a fun dog. So now we're on our way to Tahoe. We are on track to get there mid-afternoon, which is exactly kind of what we're hoping for. Go there, spend some time, but let's finish this drive up. Boom, and we are here. Montage done. This is nuts. Go figure. Tahoe looks like a movie that's set in Tahoe. This place is pretty wild, so we're gonna go check in. And really not sure what the rest of the day is gonna look like, but I got another buddy I'm gonna link up with. I'm gonna get to stay at his house tonight, and we're racing tomorrow. So let's go check this out. How nutty is this? All right, good morning. It is Friday, it is race day, and we are getting the kit together. So out the van, I am, like I said, went and just did packet pickup yesterday and just hung out at a friend's house. Pretty sick little swag bag. The bag is fine, but like real nice Salomon shirt, nice little soft flask from Salomon as well. A couple other just like small little things. I'm like, this is a pretty cool little bag. I will definitely be like using these things. Disposable cup, neat. Way better than a million plastic cups, which is not neat. We're gonna go over just getting everything that I'm getting set up for the race. And while we've got one snag, and by snag, it's not really a snag, it's just one big change. And the winds are really bad right now. And they are predicting gale force winds, sustained gust of 70 to 80 miles an hour at certain points of this race. And they've had to change the course. So it's not quite the race we were training for, right? Not quite the elevation. But it's going to be an awesome experience nonetheless. This is, if you can see behind me, like this is just coming out of my buddy's driveway. Like this place is pretty sick. So let's go ahead and get stuff lined up with nutrition and gels and water and carbs and all the other 97 different things that we're going to do. Okay, so getting the kit all set up, getting the vest done. Nutrition wise, I just brought a bunch of Go Gels with me, so I've got 3 flavors, and I will carry probably way more than I'll need. But the plan there is every 30 minutes knock down a gel. That's what we've been training with. And then I'm going to be carrying 4 soft flasks. There's 2 right here, obviously. So I'm probably going to carry 3 for the race. One of these this is gonna have G1M in it, so from BPN, so that's electrolytes and carbs. So I've got some liquid calories with me. This guy is just electrolytes. That one I'm probably gonna carry in the back. This guy will be right up here on the vest, and then I'm gonna keep a bottle of fresh water. And then of course, I've got the new BPN G1M Sport, like plus, I don't know what other words go into the title, but I'm gonna have this guy just to drink before. Got my Nito Cool Guy Death March. Went and snagged a couple soft flasks from them. These are 600 milliliter, little bigger ones. They were out of the 5s. And to be honest, for this race, there's really not a whole lot more than just basically making sure that you're carrying calories, you're carrying hydration, and you are executing your plan to stay on top of things. Because the elevation's gonna be a thing. Like I don't feel like I feel very bad right now, but like my whoop will tell you I'm in the gutter. Again, I don't feel as off as it suggests I do, but got the small little headache. I'm staying hydrated, but I'm having to do more than I normally would. And yeah, so so it's these little things that this is a race where we're going to put me on a real trail and see what we need to work on, see what we're good at, see what we're not. Learn a lot about these sorts of strategies, pre-race, intra, and we're just going to go from there. So let's go ahead and actually get the kit all set up, get everything all going, getting the poles in the vests, in the quiver, all of it. So let's knock that out real quick. And while this is completely irrelevant to performance, unless you really, really, really buy into look good, play good, feel good. Look good, feel good, play good. I am playing around with a running hat for CWCW. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It's our Richardson running hat. First time I've ever used one of these guys. I've done Richardson for all my other hats. And we've got this color, it's a little bit darker. If you have feelings or opinions, let me know. I'm liking them a lot more than I thought. All right.
All kitted. Let's go.
All right, so it is the next day. So it's Saturday. Did the race yesterday, and man, that was pretty cool. That was a very good time, even when it wasn't. So just kind of giving a small recap of the race, and giving a little bit of kind of insight into what I learned, how I'm using that, and how we're gonna move, or what we'll be taking to try to like move forward with the whole trail running endurance journey. So right off the bat, kind of in a sense, I like perfectly lined up with the highest level expectation I could have had, but also kind of smashed expectations at the same time. So there was a lot of new on this. So this is my first legitimate, like, serious trail race. This is my first time doing like the driving thing, sleeping in a van. This is only my second time ever at elevation. Like, I'm sitting right here. Like, I'm sitting right now at little over 6,300 feet of elevation. I live at sea level. To be honest, I actually feel it a little bit more today than I did yesterday. But so you throw all that stuff in there, and then we're going into, it's Thursday, and we get an email saying that the winds are going to be so bad that they're changing the 18K course. Kicker being, the updated course was going to have to cut a lot of climbing out because we weren't going to be able to go as high because the wind was ripping. And I'm going to get more into that one because I'm going to be honest, there was a point where I genuinely dealt with real fear. Like, this is actually fucking scary. In a cool way, like in the good way. But yeah, so the new course was supposed to climbing, the email said something between 25, 26, maybe 2,700. Originally, it was going to be closer to like 38, 37. Yeah, my Garmin data and a few other people's 4,200 feet. So we got a ton of climbing in. So that was cool. So yeah, so like I said, there was a lot of reasons to like temper expectations just because there's just so many things I'm doing for the first time at the same time. Something I actively, generally would try to avoid, especially like in training. Like we're going to train and work on one change, one adjustment, one new at a time. And this one had a bunch of them. So the reality is, at no point did I stop moving on this entire race. Like, I never had to stop. I came in knowing like, hey, your legs may feel like crap from all the driving. But they'll come back, like they'll wake up, and like, so I felt confident that would happen if that happened. So I came in waiting and like ready for my legs to just not super duper have it and be there. Somehow that never happened. That never happened. I had gas, I had power. If I could have gotten myself through twice the work yesterday. Not in any impressive manner, but knowing what I know and knowing how I felt, I could have gotten myself through. Like, my legs just had it. I would say that I performed to the best of my training, which is, again, you can't ever expect any more than that. That is best case scenario, is that you match your best training efforts, and which is why training is so important to be intentional, and why it's important to be engaged in your training, not just go through the motions if you're going to go do something like this. Because, again, you sitting there thinking that you're going to, hit a bunch of singles in practice and then go into the game and, hit home runs is pretty crazy and kind of dumb. It lacks a lot of perspective and appreciation and respect for what you're doing. And especially like this, where you're going to be playing around with Mother Nature, you have to have respect. Mother Nature is undefeated in all of its endeavors, and it will get you on a long enough timeline. If you don't respect it, it will happen a lot faster. So legs felt shockingly good. Altitude, again, I was especially like, I was like, maybe I'll start strong and tail off and taper off. Not so much. I felt like I did a really good job. And just, again, I just kept going, and I kind of thought about it like this. And so this is kind of, I guess we're going to get into a little bit on this one. It's going to be some like mindset and theory type stuff about how I approach this, because I'll tell you, like 20 minutes before the race, we're in the corral, and I even texted my wife, and I was like, this is the most clueless I have ever been going into something like this. Like, I've done a lot of different sports and physical endeavors, everything from strength, and now getting into endurance and martial arts, and I've never done this before, but I never felt as clueless, especially with the course changes, because one nice thing with trail racing is they try to give you a lot of course information so you can taper and put your training around it, so you can understand what kind of climbing you're going to be doing. And now all of that it wasn't out of the window, because we're still in the same place doing basically the same stuff. But I don't understand what any of the changes are. Like, people from Tahoe are like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that change is. Oh, you're going to be here instead, these sorts of things. And so like, there's a lot of like, there was that. Like, I remember, like, I texted her, I was like, this is the most clueless I've ever been at a start line or the beginning of a competition that I was going to do. So that was another really unique. And so it's like, head down, swing the axe, repeat. But so the things I was thinking about though is like, okay, if altitude's gonna get me, what's the worst thing I can do to accelerate that process? And the baseline thing is breathing through my mouth. And so I just put a big emphasis, I'm gonna breathe through my nose, because that will delay, at worst, that's going to delay the potential altitude issue, if there was going to be one. So I did put a lot of work into that, and like, that was a conscious thought for me through the race and through the course. Keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. And it came in big. It was a huge piece of the puzzle. It made a big difference for my race, for sure. And it's part of the reasons why I had such a good experience. Things that I thought that I would not do the best with, I nailed. I was on my nutrition plan. In fact, I even had to make an adjustment, because what we thought was going to be on the course didn't end up being on there, in terms of like aid stations. And like, I thought there was going to be a carbohydrate mix drink available, and it wasn't. So, but again, I just made a quick pivot, and I changed my gel schedule and bumped it up a little bit, because I was banking on a couple gels an hour plus liquid carbs. And so that went, again, I had to make a couple of moves, and they worked. And one of the things that I talk, explaining the stuff to trail racing and how it's different. And it's like, man, when you get into like the ultras, and like the more I watch and the more I learn and talk, is like, there's no such thing as like a perfect run on a 30+ mile run, especially if you're getting into like 50s and 100s. Like, something's gonna go off. So I had a small thing go off on this one. I will have a larger one, a bigger issue in the future, without question. It would be almost weird if I didn't. Or I'm just not trying and challenging myself, is really probably the reality there. And so I made these little adjustments on the fly. They worked. And yeah, I was really impressed with how much of my training carried over. It was really hard to find good training for this in Missouri. But it worked, and that's just a huge confidence boost. Now, like how I feel about Grindstone in September has completely changed. I know that I'm still going to get hit in the face at Grindstone, but I feel differently about it now. I definitely impressed myself and surprised myself with that one, because so not only did I feel like I had a good run. I never stopped moving my feet. I stopped at the aid station to refill water, have a piece of watermelon and a pickle, but that's literally it. I never had to like stop on the course and collect myself. I kept it together. That was awesome. Big fan. And so like, I know I can go do that for a much longer amount of time. And that's the other piece of the puzzle, is I know I can do that longer. And I got done. I was about 9 miles in. The race was 10 miles and change. And I was like, if I had to do this all again today, I wouldn't like it, but I could do it. And so like, that's a good feeling. And then being done, I just wasn't as crushed as I was ready to be. I was totally expecting to just be annihilated. That was as much as my body can handle type of deal. And no, that wasn't the truth. My body can handle more. I did not find my edge, but I definitely got a great challenge in on this one. I had a lot of fun, to be honest. Very much type 2 fun, but like it was a lot of fun. I mean, Broken Arrow now is always going to be a little bit special for me. It's a really cool event. I've been to a lot of different styles of athletic events, and some of them are like, hey, this is business. And some are like, hey, this is a party. And the ones that tend to be like a party, they tend to not do it. The actual competition tends to be a little less tight. That was not the case in this at all. This was very well done. And again, great experience. The little venue is awesome. It's coming from St. Louis and living there my whole life. It's almost hard to believe that Tahoe's a real thing. Like, you know, I when I went to registration and to packet pickup, and I was just like, this is the part in the movie where I get challenged by some local to ski for the pride of someone I've never met. That sort of deal. I was like, this is what this looks like. It looks like a ski movie. And it is, in a lot of ways. But like you said, it's just a really cool place and expand the horizons a little bit. And then from there, last bits on the race though is, like, it was cool. So we had a few adaptive runners in this race. Zach Friedley has done a ton of work with Born to Adapt, trying to make this a thing for amputees to go and strive for, a thing that they believe that they can do, because I will tell you, I've been told many times that amputees can't trail run. I've been told that, like, can't. Hard stop, end of sentence, which is nonsense. That sentence is always nonsense. But he's done a lot of work, so we had a few of us in there. I did get to be, not that it really mattered, but I was the first one to get finished. And there, I think I was 3 hours, 24 or 25 minutes on my Strava, I think, or Strava. Yeah. I mean, it is on Strava too, but on my Garmin data. Check this out real quick. I'll also probably, I don't care. Yeah. 10.5 miles. A lot of it not super runnable. I actually kept a pretty low average heart rate for what I thought was going to happen, 150 beats per minute. I thought that was going to be a lot higher, especially because like with the altitude and elevation and climbing, I was like, my heart rate may be a really big challenge. But again, breathing through the nose makes a big difference. Yeah, total time on my watch, 3:24:50. Total ascent, 4,205. My average pace was just under a 20-minute mile. Because yeah, like I said, a lot of it was power hiking. Like, and that's what we trained for. I didn't run a single hill other than treadmill intervals. And so that was the best thing for me to do in this race. And other than that, like, there was this one piece of it that actually was genuinely scary. I've never been on a ridge before. And like I said, the course got changed because of the wind, and the wind was gnarly. There was a point where I thought I was actually going to get thrown face first into the ground. Like, I was like battling the wind, like fighting, like bracing against it to not get knocked over. And then it changed direction real quick and like knocked me down, like woof. Like, it was a really big factor the entire time. And then there was this one point where we're on a ridge. And so I've never been on a ridge before. We don't have those in St. Louis. And so that alone is like, whoa, that's like, it's cool. Like, it's very cool. And I'm so happy I had this experience. And I will say straight up, fear. I was like, this is scary. And I acknowledged that in the moment, that this is like kind of like actually scaring me. So we're on this ridge. It's not solid. It's a lot of broken up rock, like gravel, but huge pieces. I'm on my blade instead of my foot. And then the wind is ripping. Like, it was hard. Like that was a particularly hard point in the race, because you're also like, you're surrounded by people. Like, I wasn't like I was by myself. So like, you also want to keep going and respect the fact that you are in a race. And so again, that's self-imposed. You don't have to do that, but that is how I felt, and I wanted to be respectful of everybody else's effort. And so like, yeah, this provided me with everything I wanted, needed, and then some, for sure. Again, it's such a cool race. It's such a cool event. Like I said, it is equal parts party as it is like serious competition, and both sides of the coin get treated very well. Couldn't say more about that. I never had to deal with anything about, having a disability. That was never brought up. Also, it's also one of the only, I think it's the first time I've ever gone and run, and I didn't have people stopping to tell me how amazing and inspirational it was. I had some people like, fuck yeah, dude, this is cool. But like, it was in that tone, like, this is cool. Like it's so cool to see this happen, to see that this is growing like this. I didn't have a single person stop and give me like the patronizing, oh, good for you, buddy. I never got that pat on the back from a stranger while they passed me, which I kind of like. Or I can take it as it's the least inspirational I've ever been in my whole life, and I'll do better next time. But yeah, great race, strong race. A lot of good, and I don't feel terrible today. I'm tired, but that's more from the travel and sleep and all that sort of stuff. So that was my Broken Arrow experience. It was very good. It was very good. It was very hard, and I think I have found my brand of hard. I think I found what makes sense for me in my heart and my soul, and more is coming. More is coming. This is a crazy first step, and I'm happy that I have these feelings all, recorded for me to look back on at some point. I did not take any video or anything like that while I was on the course. I was like, I had to work. If the conditions might have been better, I might have taken a little bit, to slag some B-roll in there. But no, I didn't take any video because I just wanted to get to work. So yeah, let's go. Now I get to hang out for the rest of the week. Like, I get to hang out for the rest of the weekend. I've got some more friends going. New friend Danny, she is a killer, and she just finished the 11K. Another guy who's staying with us, Eric, is currently running the 46K, and then Zach is running tomorrow as well. Thank you. Thanks for listening if you're still listening.